It's time for Jeremy Grantham's yearly broken clock market crash BS. Just about every year, Jeremy Grantham warns about a stock market crash. Meanwhile, he stays invested.
Jeremy Grantham, one of the most notable bears on Wall Street, thinks the current market rally will end badly. No surprise there. What is surprising, though, is in his latest quarterly report, shareholders, he says that this current rally could continue for another year or two, taking the S&P about 20% higher to 2250. So, Henry Blodgett, are you surprised to hear Jeremy Grantham saying or writing that he thinks that this current rally has some more legs to it?
Well, what's funny is that he's being characterized as a bull now because, you know, hey, another year or two, rip-roaring, who cares about what happens after that? But let's be very clear.
He's not a bull. Let's be very clear.
He is saying this is, quote, the last hurrah. He then thinks there is going to be a horrific crash that would take the stock market down 50%, if not more, from that level. Where he quibbles with other folks who are negative, like John Hussman, is just on a matter of timing.
It's all about the timing, right?
He's putting it all together, and he's saying, look, you've still got a Fed that is just incredibly interested in stimulating however they can. We've got the presidential cycle. We've got all these different things going on. This is going to take the market up for another couple of years before it crashes. All I can say is between the two of them, you just don't know.
They're both saying
it's tough, but they're looking at the same fundamental valuation data, which you and I have talked about a ton of time.
So a couple of things. So both Hussman and Grantham have been fighting this rally for the most part on the way up, right? So I think a lot of people look at him and say, well, you know, a broken clock could be right eventually, and you've been saying the same thing. So to me, it was notable that Grantham saying, hey, we think it's nuts out there. We think we're in bubble-esque territory. He's not, by his definition, we're not quite there yet, but we're on our way, clearly. But he's saying, look, there are a lot of factors that could keep the market elevated for another couple of years. And I did want to get your thoughts, though, on Grantham's definition of a bubble and where we're at in this bubble cycle. Do you essentially agree with his analysis?
Well, he goes back through history and defines bubbles as 2 sigma events. So they clear a specific statistical hurdle.
Right, it's like you have a long-term trend, and then you have something that's way up here.
And let's call that a bubble, and other cycles are just boom-bust cycles. And so where does he say we are in that now? We're at 1.4. So anybody who's bullish says, oh, so much more to go. And that's what he's saying is, yes, it could be more. And if we get to 2250, his target on the S&P 500, then we're at a 2 sigma event, and then we can crash 50% from there.
Over the past decade, Grantham ended up causing people who were foolish enough to listen to him to pull out of what would become the longest bull market in history. Meanwhile, he makes money because he stays invested. And he never bothers to tell the audience, otherwise known as the sheep, that he will remain invested. Does the media ever call Grantham out for this con game? Of course not. The media worked hard to convince its audience that Grantham is a legendary investor, so the sheep were lured to listen to Grantham. The media screws its audience intentionally. That's how the media makes money. Got it? The media doesn't give a rat's ass about its audience because the audience doesn't pay for ads. That's how the media makes money. By selling ads. The objective of the media is to steer the sheep into the slaughterhouse so its financial partners, Wall Street, will more easily take their money. Who do you think pays for most of the ads in the financial media? Wall Street. Do you now see how the game is played? In addition, by constantly airing cons and clowns, the media is creating the false impression that no one can predict stock market sell-offs, collapses, and nail stock market bottoms. Con artists like Grantham create a bad name for the field of market forecasting. But he's not alone. Other clowns promoted as experts in the financial media like Peter Schiff, Robert Prechter, Harry Dent, Charles Netter, Louise Yamada have abysmal market forecasting track records, making it seem as if forecasting the stock market cannot be done with any level of reasonable consistency. The real problem is the media's choice of experts.
Show me somebody who always times the market correctly. Just show me.
No.
It's delusion when people say that, when they talk about that. And everybody comes out, oh, well, our little model that says this, and we're constructive on equities. It's just a bunch of crap. Both Grantham and Hussman are looking at very, very long-term data. They're just saying, look, when we get to this level of valuation, the chickens do come home to roost
Exactly,
at some
yes.
point.
As disgraced former analyst Henry Blodgett stated without realizing it, Grantham and Hussman aren't really forecasting the market. They are looking strictly at long-term valuation data. Valuation data comprises only one of many variables involved in stock market forecasting. Obviously, neither Grantham nor Hussman understand the complex variables involved in forecasting the stock market. They focus on valuation data and assume that the market cannot possibly go well above extremes in valuations. This is a simpleton approach that will lead to more terrible forecasts than accurate ones. While it is true that the vast majority of investors are unable to consistently forecast major declines and pick bottoms in the stock market, there are a few experts who can. They aren't right 100% of the time. No one ever is. The best forecasters are right at least 70% of the time. But because the media is always airing clowns and cons, it's very natural for people to think the market cannot be forecast. After all, if legendary investors cannot forecast the market, then no one can, right? The next time the media claims their expert is legendary, ask yourself what evidence is there that he is a legendary market forecaster. Because the media airs cons and clowns like Grantham, Schiff, Dent, Faber, Cass, Gartman, Rogers, most people are led to believe that market crashes cannot be predicted. Market crashes can be predicted. But they can only be predicted with high accuracy by a very tiny percentage of financial professionals. Mike Stathis of AVA Investment Analytics has been proven to be one of the top market forecasters in the world. If you are unaware of this, then you are not familiar with his long-standing track record in market forecasting. In fact, he's probably the world's best market forecaster. In addition to having predicted the details of the 2008 financial crisis with more accuracy than anyone in the world, a claim he is backed by up to $1 million. He predicted the top in the stock market before the financial crisis, October 2007, as well as the bottom on March 10, 2009. He also accurately predicted the majority of major market sell-offs since 2010, top and bottom. He also predicted the approximate bottom in the COVID-19 pandemic market collapse. He has been accurately forecasting major market moves for nearly 2 decades. At the end of the day, it's all about their track record. It doesn't matter if the media claims they are legendary investors. If their market forecasting track record sucks, then they are useless market forecasters and should be avoided. The media will never air a credible expert who will help investors. This is a fact. If you're listening to con artists and/or idiots, you're not going to do well. Grantham is another con man from a long list of cons promoted by his tribesmen in the media. He's constantly predicting a market collapse because he wants to be remembered as the man who predicted the next market collapse. Meanwhile, he knows the media won't bother to share with its sheep audience that he's nothing more than a broken clock. The problem is that he has been dreadfully wrong for many, many years, causing those who fell for his BS gimmick to miss out on tremendous gains. What's truly remarkable is that Grantham missed the 2008 financial crisis. And like other con artists, he's been trying to predict the next collapse by calling for a market collapse just about every year since then. Think about it. You have a man who is so biased for predicting collapses that he rarely gets any right, but he failed to predict the 2008 financial crisis? Grantham is not a legend. He's a clown who relies on media exposure to lure more suckers into his funds. Grantham is by no means the first broken clock clown to be promoted as an expert by the financial media. In fact, the financial media has a long history of airing broken clock clowns and con artists, who caused people who listened to them to miss out on tremendous returns. Allow me to remind you of just a few of the broken clock clowns and idiots the financial media claims are experts. Peter Schiff, Harry Dent, Jim Rogers, Mark Faber, Robert Prechter, Jim Cramer, Barry Ritholtz, Josh Brown, Pete and John Najarian. Feel free to add anyone else from CNBC, Fox Business, Bloomberg and elsewhere in the financial media. I'd like to encourage you to carefully examine the track records of these individuals, and you will realize they are contrarian indicators. After having missed the 2008 financial crisis, it appears as if Grantham wanted to make sure to predict the next collapse. He predicted a stock market collapse in 2010, 2011, 2013, 2014, and 2016. But the stock market kept rising. He was back at it in 2018 and 2019. But the stock market kept rising. Grantham stuck to his guns, knowing that eventually a market collapse would occur. So in 2020, he proceeded with the same BS, calling for a market collapse. But the stock market kept rising. And then again in 2021. But the market continued higher. Of course, now that it's become more obvious that the market is in trouble, Grantham has come out again predicting a collapse. When warning signs appeared in the market in January 2022, Grantham tried to validate his previous failed predictions by calling the stock market a super bubble, despite the fact that valuations had already peaked in 2021. Recall that Grantham was claiming the stock market was in a bubble in 2014 when the S&P 500 was under 2,000. It went on to soar to 4,800 by 2022. Throughout his many years of ridiculous fear-mongering campaigns, the media has never discussed Grantham's consistently wrong forecasts. In January 2022, Mike Stathis issued a major warning to investors for the first time since he predicted the 2008 financial crisis. Stathis was not predicting a collapse year after year. These people are not credible. Sounding the alarm all the time means you are either a clown or a con artist. We cannot discuss our research with the public. It is reserved for paying research subscribers, so we cannot discuss what Stathis stated in that forecast or any of the other forecasts since January 2022. The point is this. Are you going to listen to broken clock con artists who make it their business to preach doom? Or are you going to listen to real experts who have excellent track records? You're not going to get real experts who are going to help you in the media. That is a fact. If you don't realize this, then you're clearly the dumb money. And remember, Grantham failed to predict the 2008 financial crisis and market collapse, despite being someone who always seems to be sounding the alarm bell. Isn't that odd for a man who rarely goes a year without predicting demise for the stock market? If you had listened to Grantham when he first started fearmongering, you would have missed out on around 300% from investing in the S&P 500 index through the beginning of 2022. What does all of this mean? Does it mean the market isn't going to collapse since Grantham has been wrong for over a decade? The only definitive conclusions that should be made are, number 1, Jeremy Grantham is a broken clock con man. Number 2, you should never pay attention to Grantham or anyone else in the media unless you want to lose money consistently. And if you have not already figured it out, Michael Burry is in the same boat as Grantham. He's just another broken clock clown. If you don't agree, then you are the dumb money. Only suckers pay attention to the media. Always remember this fact. Ad-based content is designed to screw its audience because you aren't paying the bills. And if you are receiving something for free, it means you aren't the customer. You're actually the target that's being exploited by the real customer, companies who pay the media for advertisement slots. It works the same with social media, free emails, and everything else offered for free.
Show me somebody who always times the market correctly.
Oh,
just show me.
No.
It's delusion when people say that, when they talk about.
I've never heard anyone make the claim that they can always time the market accurately, so why is he making that claim? No one can do anything with a 100% accuracy rate. He's trying to discredit the entire market forecasting discipline when the real problem is with the clowns in the media who claim they can forecast the market. Instead of Henry calling Grantham a broken clock con man, which is what he is, he decides to attack the field of market forecasting. But of course this is coming from the same man who as an analyst intentionally pumped trash stocks that he knew would crash and burn during the dot-com bubble. He also hosted countless broken clock clowns for several years such as Peter Schiff and Jim Rogers when he was in charge at Yahoo Finance. Blodgett would know about Mike Stathis' amazing forecasting track record if he had not banned him over a decade ago. Henry, you can't forecast the market, and neither can any of the clowns aired in the media. But Mike Stathis can. And he has been forecasting it with high levels of accuracy for many years. And while he's not perfect, I'd like to see someone who is better.